So we're here at the furnace at a home we just inspected, and some of the things that we'll come across maybe a homeowner wouldn't necessarily be aware of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up and kind of show you some of the things that we would discover during the inspection process. So the furnace was running great, so it was providing heat to the house. There was no issues with that. But when we opened the panel up in the back, we noticed there was a little bit of moisture way back there. So what we do is then we try to problem solve. You know, hey, where's this moisture coming from? This is what we call a high efficiency unit, also known as a condensing unit. So one of the things this furnace does is it reduces the exhaust temperature so low that it turns the exhaust back into water, and then it drains away through some pipes here. What's happening with this particular unit is way back here in the back, there was a drip, and it had been going on for some time. If we look down the side, we can see some staining and things like that. This is the type of things that perhaps a homeowner wouldn't necessarily know to look for, but as a trained home inspector, we see these things. The good news is, while the furnace is running great, really all this is going to take is just a service call. HVAC Pro will come in, fix that up, and it should be good to go. All right, so this is the electric panel. And what we do during a home inspection is we will open this cover up and we'll get in there and we'll look at the wires. We'll make sure everything's wired correctly. We'll look for signs of overheating, maybe some things that we call like double taps and the panel bonding and some technical things like that. Also, what we'll do with the electrical system is we'll go through the entire house and we'll take our testers and we will actually test the outlets that are available for us to test. These testers have indicator lights on them and they'll tell us how that outlet is wired behind the wall there. It's not uncommon in a home, perhaps even an older home, to have what we call open grounded outlets. That's something that's pretty common. It is important to understand why an outlet is open grounded, whether the house has just some older wiring and the homeowner has maybe put some new outlets in. Whereas if there was an isolated situation, it might indicate that maybe a wire had been cut. So those types of things are important to find out about the house. And that's what we do. We go top to bottom, check out the whole house for electrical issues. And with electricity, you know, I always say anything that's invisible and can kill you deserves a little respect. With electricity, it's important to have that evaluated by a professional, someone who knows what they're looking for and can head off any issues before they become a fire hazard or safety issue with the family. Here we are, what we do during a normal inspection. We're here in the kitchen, but right above us is the bathroom. And what we try to do is we'll simulate a full day's activity. So we'll fill the tubs up, we'll run them down, we'll drain the tubs, we'll run the showers, we'll shake the toilets, we'll flush them several times, really just trying to simulate a full day's activity to push water through the system to see if there's any drips or leaks. It's not uncommon to find drips or leaks, but one of the technologies that we utilize, which makes it a little bit easier for us, is this infrared camera. And what we do with this is after we've ran all the plumbing upstairs, we'll come downstairs and then we'll scan the ceilings like that. And right up here, we did notice a blue spot in the ceiling, and that blue spot indicates that there's a temperature difference, and that can mean that there might be a drip there. So then what we do is we'll get up with our step stool, and then we'll take some moisture meter readings in and around the area to confirm if it was wet or not. This particular ceiling has no indication that there's a drip at all, but we were able to locate it with this infrared camera, and we were able to find something perhaps before it became a bigger issue. All right, so here we are outside, and what we do typically during a home inspection outside is we'll jump up on the roof. In this particular roof, we were able to get up on the very top. And of course, that's some place that most buyers won't end up, is on the roof, and certainly sellers won't see the roof that often. On this particular roof, we could tell that there were a couple layers of shingles up there, which we would comment on. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with that, but it is something that a buyer should know because it does shorten the lifespan of the materials just a little bit. That being said, other things that we look outside of the property are the exterior conditions as well. So this particular house has a screened-in porch, and on this particular home, we did find some softwood and things like that. Certainly a contractor can be able to fix those things up, but it's good to know conditions that are conducive to moisture-related issues or even insect-related issues, and we can identify a lot of those from the exterior. Also, some things we talk about are maintenance-related, perhaps, or something that might be conducive to a condition that we don't want. So for instance, over here we've got a little bit of a low spot in the grading behind us, and we can see that as the water comes down off of the siding, it's going to have a tendency to come towards the house. So what we try to look for are signs of moisture also in the crawl space area. Most moisture in a crawl space area is going to be directly related to gutter drainage systems, block grading, and things of that nature. I always tell my clients the more we can move the water away from the house, the better the conditions will be down there. So these are things that we look at in a home inspection on the exterior of a home. Certainly they're important to know as you're moving into the home buying process, and they could be easily maintained for a lot of different reasons. So that's what we like to do outside.
Well, thank you, Mike, for sharing all this valuable information on what comes along with a home inspection and what buyers and sellers can expect. We appreciate your time and all the information you provided today.
Awesome. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course.
Thanks
Thanks
so
Mike.
much.